worst business advice ever. I'm Nate. I'm the FitFutureMD. I lost 30 pounds in 30 days. Pick up that copy of the free workout nutrition guide in the description below. I'm the owner of Ensorsale.com. Ensorsale is family. Together we can rise up from humble beginnings to help people all over the world with inspiration on our t-shirts. Wear your inspiration today. So I was listening to the Social Proof podcast. Lately, it's been the only thing that's had topics that I've been interested in. So, while I'm working, I'm listening to podcasts, right? You should too. Check out our podcast, So What You Want to Talk About podcast. It'll help you out with mindset for sure, which is probably the number one thing that most people have an issue with is mindset. But I'm listening to these entrepreneurs on the Social Proof podcast, and they're literally basically telling people trying to start out that they should go personally guarantee business credit cards at their local bank. And that is literally some of the worst advice ever in business, right? And the reason I say this is because you cannot go bankrupt on credit cards, right? You cannot discharge credit card debt in bankruptcy. So if you're like me and you start from a poor background, right? Single mother home, yada, yada, yada. To go, a lot of people would say, well, you really have no risk. You're at the bottom, running up a big credit card bill so that you can make your business is a no-brainer, right? Well, that's basically the formula to keep you at the bottom forever. Because just say you have a good business, right? Say you have a business, say you're a franchise business, right? Most franchise businesses are going to throw out, 150 to 300K to the franchise owner, right? And they got some franchises out there that are cheap to get into. But just say you do that and you put what you needed to get the funding on a credit card. Even franchises can go out of business, right? And they have a successful formula that's been proven over and over and over again. That's why they're a franchise. I think a lot of people, we've been in a bull run for so long, and they pump so much money into the market that they think the market cannot go down and they cannot lose, right? When you put something on debt, right, that increases your risk, right? Especially depending on how much debt it is, right? When you buy stuff with debt, that increases your risk. And not saying that you should never have debt on something, because if I got a order from Target today and they wanted to put Ensorsale into Target and they needed $10 million worth of product, I'm probably gonna have to borrow money to produce that product, right? So that it could go into Target. But I'm gonna go into the bank and ask for the money and put up the contract as the collateral for that clothing, right? I'm not gonna go and put all that on a credit card. I'm not gonna put $10 million on a credit card. That's crazy, right? These people are talking about, $50,000. Like, $50,000 would basically keep you in poverty for 10 to 20 years, trying to pay it off at 20% interest, right? So, and there was some schemes going around where you would balance transfer your credit cards to 0%. And yes, I've done that before, right? Absolutely. Coming out of college, all the interest rates, were like 18% at the time. And absolutely, I transferred all those balances to 0% credit cards and then paid them off. And that's definitely a way that you can pay those off. But it was risky. Like, you just don't know when the downturn in the market's going to be. right? And when you're starting out, you really don't know anything about business. You know nothing, right? So they're literally telling you to go and put risk on something that you have no idea about, right? Say even if I started a t-shirt business or a brand like I have, I started my brand with an order, right? And my own money to make the order. And I paid for all of my equipment with that first order, right? So in my business, there's literally no risk, right? If I don't get any orders for 6 months, my equipment's still paid for, right? And that's the way you want to approach your business. Now, most successful business owners have worked in their industry for 10 to 20 years before they start their own business. They go off on their own, right? So most of the successful business owners that I'm aware of in my area, they all started their business in their late 30s, early 40s, right? And how they did it was they took from their either retirement accounts or they had saved the money over that amount of time to start their business, right? So I'm just going to do some quick math here for you, right? You start out, you're making $30,000 a year. You're putting away 15%, which is $375 a month, right? That's $375, that's $4,500 a year. $4,500 a year for 20 years. You're now 38 years old and you have $370,000 in a brokerage account. That $370,000 is putting off $44,000 a year to you in cash. Okay? And that tax rate's at 20%, not at 50 like normal W-2 income is. Now, if you took that money and started your business, that makes sense. You have 20 years of experience in the industry and you got something that's giving you $40,000 a year. Like, that's a much safer place to start a business. And if the business fails, you still have $40,000 coming in, right? It makes sense. And that's why so many people that do that are successful. Because it's not really about the capital, it's about the experience, right? It's about seeing what other managers have done and not doing what they do, right? Honestly, that's the truth. Like, I've been under several managers and I've taken the good and I've taken the bad from all of those managers, right? And a lot of people, they want you to make the mistake of building stuff up on credit when you really just need the experience. And the second way that you could do this is you could go in as a partnership, okay? And so imagine 18, 20 years go by, you've done it, and 3 other people that have done the same thing, right? So you have 4 people coming in with $40,000 each. So instead of borrowing the money, you're using each other as the bank, right? And honestly, like, if you can find good, honest, quality people to work with like that, you're in a much better position, because you could basically take shifts and keep the business rolling and never even have employees, right? Cut your biggest cost out. That's honestly a lot harder to do, but the ones that do that are very, very successful. Very successful, right? And that's basically the point of this video, is that These people telling you to go out and do business credit cards with a personal guarantee, that means they can come after you personally when you don't pay the credit cards off. That's stupid. Credit card debt is the second worst debt you can have behind student loans. The second worst. So if something is good for the lender, it's bad for the person taking the loan, right? So if they're offering you something that's too good to be true, or they're going to throw you $50,000 on a credit card and you have not even really started your business yet, you just have a business plan, I mean, you're basically just getting screwed, right? Simple as that. And you will stay in poverty because the market will go down, right? There are market cycles. And when that market cycle goes down and you can't make those payments, you get screwed and you can't discharge those. So this is just what I had to say about what they were talking about. Like, it's terrible advice. Please don't take that advice. Like, start your business out on good footing, right? Learn from experience, save and start your business, partner with people to get money, get investors in your business. Don't get borrowed money into your business. The bank does not, you don't need to be invested with the bank. You need to be invested with people that believe in you, that are willing to work hard to make your business successful with you. That's the way you start a business. I'm Nate, I'm the FitFutureMD. Go check out Ensorsale.com if you're interested. Get the free nutrition and workout guide in the description below. You know, if you're interested in trying to be healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.